Hi, friends. This is Wendy Harrop, and welcome to the Say Yes to Yourself podcast. On the Say Yes to Yourself podcast, you'll hear stories from women just like us who are adding the practice of saying yes in their daily lives in big and small ways, and as a result, are experiencing the truth that everybody wins when you say yes to yourself. Saying yes to yourself is a graceful unfolding, an intentional becoming of the very best version of you. It is my hope that in these conversations, we are able to find our truth and be inspired and empowered to live our very best lives. I'm so excited to go on this journey with you, and I look forward to finding a bit of our own story in each other's.
Hello, favorites. Welcome back to the podcast. I'm so glad you're here. I hope you are having a wonderful summer. I hope it's not as hot as it is here. I just hope those feelings of freedom and an opportunity to linger because the days are longer and just joy, limitlessness, all of those beautiful feelings that the summer season brings with it. I hope you're experiencing all of them. There's so much joy and freedom available to us. And today's guest is sharing that in such a beautiful, expansive way. She has left her corporate job. She is starting a new, amazing business. I'm so excited. I'm so lit up by the opportunity to talk to her, to get kind of some of the behind the scenes of how that process went, because I was only watching it through Instagram and through our conversations in my DMs. But it's just so beautiful to witness a woman saying yes to herself and the gorgeous ripple effects, the gorgeous transformation, and how, seriously, I tell you it every week, everybody wins when you say yes to yourself. So let me tell you a little bit about Terri Cebulla. After a multi-decade career in corporate finance, Terri decided to use her expertise to help small and medium-sized businesses by providing financial strategy to help them grow profits, save money, and plan for the future. Terri named her company Thrive Financial, not only because she is helping businesses thrive, but also because she is choosing to thrive in all areas of her life. Focus on family, wellness, and helping businesses. Terri lives in Kalispell, Montana with her husband. She enjoys spending time with family, especially her granddaughters. She and her husband also own a mobile tap truck, which they enjoy several weekends each summer. Okay, you guys, she is so fun. You are going to love this conversation and see so much of your own story in hers. So please enjoy this beautiful conversation with Terri Cebulla. Sweet Terri, I am so excited to have this conversation with you, and I am so proud of you for accepting this invitation and doing something that might feel unfamiliar and uncomfortable, but that you are over prepared for. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me, Wendy. Thank you so much.
It's so fun. And I have so many questions for you because I'm so excited about what is happening in your fabulous world. But I'm just going to start with the question that I ask all my guests, and that is, how are you saying yes to yourself in this season?
Oh my gosh. I thought about that, and I truly thought the first time you and I spoke, Wendy, I was not saying yes to myself. And I feel like in this season, I am just so proud to say that I'm saying yes to myself in my career, my family, my health, taking a big leap and starting my own business, leaving corporate accounting, and yeah, that's the biggest way, but also just really saying yes to what's that next level and how can I be that best self, not only to my family, but also to the businesses that I want to help. So just saying yes to everything. And I think that that's what's just gets me so excited. And then things just start coming in. So yeah, it's all good place, good place.
Oh, it's so amazing. And I recall our first conversations several months ago, if not
Yes.
years ago.
Yeah.
It feels like a long time and yesterday, like all time does, I feel like. Where you really were in, as I reflect on those conversations, you were really struggling to
Mhm.
even comprehend what any form of yes would even look like. And what I love in just hearing and seeing the elation on your face and hearing that in your tone and just sensing that in your beautiful energy, that the things that you feared and that so many, not singling you out, that we often, so many of us fear, what would even happen if I were to be so selfish as to choose something that would delight me? Like the world will stop spinning. So clearly my family will completely fall apart. Nobody will eat. This company I work for will have to shut down because apparently I'm the only one that ever does anything around here. That was a common phrase that my dad would say the one time he took the trash out. So it's just funny to me. But we can catastrophize what is on the other side of this decision to choose ourselves, when what you have actually experienced is an opening up of every area of your life. And what I've witnessed, and I would love for you to share your journey and how this happened and what steps you took. But from my view, you took control of your life. You made a decision that just was it wasn't necessarily defiant or rebellious, or you weren't pissed off setting houses on fire or anything like that. You just came to an awareness that nobody else was sitting around wondering how your life is going to get better, and that you were the woman that needed to make a shift, and your commitment to yourself is real. And I celebrate and honor that, and would love to hear how that kind of played out on the inside from your perspective, because that's what I witnessed, and it was beautiful.
Oh, thank
And
you.
I know that there was, more than the Instagram version. So I would love to
Yeah.
hear how that went for you.
Yeah. I think that, one of the things that I have two sons and they're both grown, and I also have three granddaughters. And, we give advice to our kids and not my granddaughters yet, but, I think being an example for them. And I've always told my boys they can do anything that they want. And I believe in them. Um, and I finally came to a point. It started with a little bit of health issues, and I was going to the doctor, and my cortisol levels were high, and I'm almost 55, and so it's the whole, our bodies are not the handling stress the same way. So that was a little bit of a wake up call, realizing how many doctor's appointments am I going to, and everything, and I'm just not feeling okay is not okay. So it finally got to the point where I said, we kind of get used to that, waking up and being hurting, and then that hurt becomes the normal and everything. And so it was kind of a wake up call. And I've had a dream of having my own business for over 20 years. And again, that voice in my head got louder, saying, what would I tell my sons? What would I tell my granddaughters? And so I finally took my own advice and really did a lot of soul searching and just realized the stress of my job and trying to balance everything. It wasn't okay. It wasn't okay. So I just said, I need something more, and I want to have that, create a company that is kind of all my favorite things, if you want to call it favorite things, for accounting. I know a lot of people hear accounting and they're like cringing, but that's been my career for over 30 years. And so I really looked at my resume and said, what did I love doing? What lit me up? What made me get excited to come to work? And that's what my business is built on, is how I can help businesses. The name of my business is Thrive Financial, that was my word of the year last year. And I finally said it's time to thrive, not only in my life, but to help businesses thrive. And it gets me excited. It gets me so excited, Wendy. I mean, every day when I think about it and how I can help businesses, and then I'm being an example for my family. And I really feel like it's not just do as I say, not as I do.
Right?
I'm following that example, not only as a wife, a mother, a grandmother, friend, and just, yeah, living my truth, I feel like.
Oh, it's so beautiful, and it is expansive and transformative. And again, just the glow on your face, it's undeniable. And I think, when I said that, what just reminded me of, people say that when they're just, when they find out somebody is having a baby and they're like, I knew it, there's a glow. And there is this glow that happens when we are in a stage of creation, when we are hosting something new that is coming to life from inside of us. And we can experience that over and over as we co-create with the divine the most beautiful, pleasurable life we can imagine. And it doesn't matter what the subject matter is. For you, it's accounting, and how beautiful that somebody is lit up about accounting. I'm so happy to have you in my universe, because that is something that not only is there an energy leak when I think about numbers and spreadsheets and such, there's a terror barrier associated with that because of old stories, narratives that are not in service to me, that I feel like I've released and moved past until I get another opportunity to look at a spreadsheet and it creeps back in. So I love that everybody loves different things. Some people love Florence, some people love Versailles, some people love the Bahamas, some people love India. Like, it's all just great. It's so great that we don't all like the same thing.
Right.
And I'm reading a book right now called Who, Not How. And it's beautiful because, so it is by Dan Sullivan, but it's actually not. It's his principles and his teaching, but he implemented his own practice of who, not how, and had somebody else write the book,
Oh,
because
wow.
it's not in his wheelhouse to be an author, but it is his desire to get his message out. So it's implementing this practice of who, not how. So when there is something that you're procrastinating about, something that is a terror barrier for me, that is not necessarily me being an avoidant princess. Part of it is being an avoidant princess, but what Dan says in his book, which I really am obsessed with this concept, he says that procrastination is actually your inner knowing that you're not the person that's supposed to accomplish this task.
Mm.
And I was like, Yes, please. That is true. I am
Love
not
that.
like the task needs to be done, but there
Mhm.
is somebody like you that is lit up about solving problems, about seeing solutions in an area that the business owner or whoever your client is, are you doing personal clients as well or just businesses? But whatever they're seeing as a block, you're seeing 14 solutions, and that fresh eyes are the best eyes. And it's so beautiful that your yes is just going to be such a yes, please, to so many other people.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm really excited. I look at it that every business is, take roofing, for example. If someone started a roofing company, it's because he's an expert roofer. It doesn't mean that he started a roofing business because he's an expert at reading his financials and knowing where to go and all of that. So I think, and a lot of times especially small businesses in my career, they wait until I need to get bigger in order to, before I can hire that help. I need to get to the next level. And just like we do in our own personal lives, I'll wait till I do this before I do that. So what I've done with my business is just say, you don't have to wait. It's basically on a fractional basis. It's helping several clients and on a part-time basis saying, you focus on your roofing business. You focus on you and what you know to do best. And I'm going to make sure I'm going to present to you your business in a way that you can understand and track those targets, show you where your business is going. How can we grow? How can we answer those questions and give them peace of mind? Give them that clarity in their business to say, oh my gosh. And then also asking the question, why did I start my business? It's like maybe it's to pay off their house or pay for their kids' college. And so making sure that those goals, those personal goals, come into their business, because I think a lot of business owners they're wearing a lot of hats. So they're so busy and it's I've got to do this and I've got to do this. And they're going home stressed and sleepless nights and things like that. So it's just providing that clarity to businesses. And like I said, I think that I'm in a season of clarity. I've come out of the weeds and I'm seeing my life to say, why not ask for this? Why not? And what's next? And I think just connecting with people like you, Wendy, and just seeing what's possible. And you've just been an incredible support. And when I reached out to you, I'm in Montana, you're in Massachusetts, and but just connecting with people and really watching their journey, and you've been an inspiration to me. So yeah, it's all so fabulous.
It is. I'm so thrilled for you, and I'm so thrilled for I have so many ideas of people that I want to introduce you to, because so for me, a lot of my listeners know I started this personal development work in January of 2020, and I signed up for an online business course. And although at that time I had been an entrepreneur for 25 years as a wedding planner, and well, longer than that actually at that time, but I hadn't ever invested in myself or invested in my business, not even advertising dollars. I was word of mouth
Mm-hmm.
for 3 decades.
Yeah.
And I always had weddings. I mean, I had a husband that was paying my bills. Like I wasn't killing it.
Yeah.
But I always had business, and I just, only knew what I knew. And I was only learning more based on my own experience. I wasn't having any outside mentorship or coaching. And then when I found out that that was a thing, and found out that, I mean, I knew it, of course, for athletes, and I knew it in the educational system. there are
Right.
guidance counselors. And I knew that if you had a corporate job, you would have a manager that I assumed was rooting you on and all of these things. And I just thought that entrepreneurs just figured it out and did the best they could. And some of them made it and some of it didn't. But then, of course, once you know better, you can do better. And I learned this, and so much of the coaching, especially from that particular mentor, Kathy Heller, she's all about like, just be a C student, just get it done and take messy action, and perfect is the enemy of good. And I totally believe that, because otherwise we just talk ourselves out of ever starting.
100%.
However, now I'm, 4.5 years into doing it a little messy and, constantly up leveling and constantly redefining and course correcting and saying yes to new things and letting other things go. And we've reached a point where doing it messy is really no longer an option. And it's time to implement some structures. I know they say like the best time to implement some sort of structure was yesterday, and the second best time is today. So, if you're listening to this and you're thinking, oh gosh, you don't even want to see my shoebox full of receipts, or whatever it is that you feel like you're not doing as well as you think you should, just knowing that there is another person and that is a support, that, like you said, you're doing it on a fractional basis, which means that I'm not responsible now. I'm not now taking on payroll for one full-time employee when I'm
Right.
also not paying myself.
Right.
But you are taking on many clients.
Right.
And so there's such a beauty to that as well, which I'm sure you're experiencing, where you are getting just the inflow of different types of businesses, and how you might have a concept of a solution that is an umbrella for all of those, but you're getting to kind of dip your toe in this industry and dip your toe in this industry and learn different things, which is a pattern interrupt from your old position. So it's feeling new all the time.
100%. 100%. And I think that, in my career, I've worked for different industries. And so, like I said, that the variety of the different industries is one of the things that, when I was listing what I wanted my business to look like, and then also what I learned from one business helps another business,
Exactly.
There's always those aha moments. And I think that sometimes when you have an employee that's only in that business, you can sometimes get so deep in that business and kind of in a rut, because it's one way of thinking, and this is the way it's always been. And so sometimes that fresh set of eyes that's also seeing other businesses and then bringing that in. And so it's it's a win-win. It's a win for me, but it's also a win for the client too. So I think that, yeah, I'm excited to help businesses, and I'm excited to, just watch my business grow. And then, like I said, just creating the business and creating that structure. It's things that I enjoy, whether it's the project management, whether it's the budget and the forecasting and all these things that are part of a business. It's like you do you in your business, but then come back on that monthly call with me and get that clarity session and get that clarity to say, yes, we are trending here, or what's that little thing that I can tweak here, and then go and flow, So yeah, I'm really excited. And like I said, it was a hard decision to leave my corporate job, but it was the decision that I needed to make. And when I gave notice, I joke with friends that it was kind of like breaking up with a boyfriend. It's not you, it's me, And it was just, and also being in, the one thing I want to say is that being type A, or, being that accountant, it's all about perfectionism, right? So I'm constantly balancing, and everything's got to equal, and everything's got to be laid out and planned. And, that was also leaping into the unknown and not having answers. And I love, it's not I think I've heard you say before, Wendy, that it's not up to us to know the how.
That's right.
It's just, we have the dream, and that's our job, and
Right.
it's taking the leap and having that faith, surrounding yourself with the people that cheer you on. And I'm sure that there's people that think I'm crazy. You have that corporate job, but yeah, I think it's about living life and surrounding myself with my family and all good things. So
I love that. And, it's just a decision to become unavailable for the
yes.
conversations with the people that think you're crazy. I'm fairly certain there is a long line of people that think I have lost my mind. I don't talk to them.
Exactly.
I'm just not available for it. I am only available for conversations like this. And these are, in fact, the only conversations I have. And it's beautiful. And could someone from the outside say, well, you're delusional and you really need to know what's going on? And didn't you watch the debate? And didn't you see the news? And I say, nope, I haven't. That is not in service to me and where I'm going. And I actually don't need any of that information. And anyone listening can believe what you wish for you. I'm not available for anything that is an energy leak. And
Yeah.
I love that you are able to make that decision as well. And I also want to point out what a fascinating human you are, that you can, talk about balance. You are bringing order and explanation and this type A practice and exercise to an industry that is all about vision and innovation, and we don't know what's next. Like, we're creating it. We are building the engine while we are flying the plane. And to be an entrepreneur, which you are, and which you are now your clients, but to bring your expertise that is this structured thing is such a beautiful combination of divine feminine and divine masculine, where it's you are, they say the divine feminine is the water, it flows, it's free, but without the divine masculine, the container, the glass for that water, it's just going to make a mess on the floor. So you need this combination where you have that so beautifully in yourself as one person, but you are also partnering with someone like me, who's just a big puddle of water, who needs some structure so that this water is flowing in a direction that is nourishing and not destructive.
Right. Yeah, I think a lot of businesses, especially small businesses, and as they're growing, they might have that bookkeeper and they have that external tax accountant or whatever. I don't do taxes. But and they think, well, I'm paying the bills, money's coming in, we've got it covered, and I've got my end of the year stuff. A lot of it's, we always want to reflect on what we've done, but we also want to see where we're going. And so it's having that. And I think the thing with entrepreneurs and any small business, they've got ideas. I love hearing, your ideas and everything you've got going on, right? And so having those additional streams of income, and I've got this idea and I want to go here. And that's great, but again, if we just make a few tweaks, we might be missing out on opportunities to just either to make more money, or maybe we didn't realize we were spending, or if we make this little tweak at the end of the year, we're going to pay less in taxes. And so just kind of that guiding force, but at the same time, it's visionary, it's saying, where do you want to go? Yeah. Where do you want to take your business? Let's get you there. Let's get you to that next level. Let's get you to that next location. And make it possible from where you are, and showing that possibility with the clarity to say, okay, now I have the steps. I can still do me and I could still do all those things and have all those ideas. But now I have a place to come back to
Right.
say, okay, put it in these buckets for me. And then that kind of what if thing. Hey, let's forecast and let's think about all those, I think that, in listening to you, Wendy, is that you've challenged me to say, what if, why not? What do you want to do? Quiet all that noise and what do you want to do? And it was those challenging questions in your podcasts and your posts that really inspired me to say, let all the quiet, not what if I fail? What if this doesn't happen? It's what do I want to do? And how do I want to help businesses? And at the same time, help myself too. And like I said, it's more of a healing process. Like taking care of me allows me to be the best mom, the best grandma, the best, fractional CFO, the best, all of that. Taking care of me first is just elevating me. So.
Right. And that is that math of choosing us really benefits everybody else. That seems wacky, but it's so true. And I
So
mean,
true.
it seems wacky because we live in a society that says you give to everybody else and your reward is in heaven, and
Right.
just hang on. It sucks
Yeah.
here, but you'll be
Yeah.
fine because you're really
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
No,
Or
that is not.
stay in the job for 40 years and this is the path you're supposed to do. You went, the known path and don't break the, break the rules or whatever.
Right. And don't talk about how that path didn't work the way that you thought it would work, because
Right.
clearly that was just you didn't do it right. And then you start having these conversations and you hear from all of these people. I have so many clients that are going on my France trips or want to go, and because they're leaving their corporate jobs or having some other life transition. Their kids are going to college, they're empty nest, they might be going through a divorce, or they're just needing to reinvent themselves. And the common coaching in that is to think back on what you loved doing as a child and what did you lose time doing, and implement some of those practices, those feelings. What can you do now that helps you feel free and limitless and full of choice and freedom and joy and bliss? And what are those things? And for you, spreadsheets, amazing. And being a business strategist, hooray, it's so good. And then at the same time, I'm raising a 10-year-old who is so creative and so passionate and so brilliant and a total unicorn. And I did not birth her. So I feel like I can say that without it sounding like a way to compliment myself, but putting her face on it. She is phenomenal. And she is amazing at things that are not in my wheelhouse, which I think is so brilliant because I stay out of her way about it, because I don't know a better way to sew or sketch or create art. Now, if she wants to make dinner, I'm kind of no fun because I'm like, oh, can you use, I only use this utensil for this thing. That doesn't go in the dishwasher. Can you please wipe that down before we move on? And can you please wring the sponge out? I am a freak show because that's my wheelhouse, but I can just let her go in these other areas. It's a very long way to a ham sandwich. Why I wanted to say that was just to witness both sides, where these women are needing to think back to what they did when they were young, and at the same time raising this young girl who is in an educational system and in a societal system that says, there's no time for that you like to do. Now it's time to do this. And then the bell rang, stop that. And now we got to go to do this thing, and now do this thing. And there's less, the higher the grade, the less time there is for play and discovery and art and creativity. There's it's other units that are measured through testing, all of those things. So it's fascinating to have both of these going at the same time, to see someone being invited to look back at the same time that I'm watching somebody have to make those things that are really big in her heart smaller and on the side, and maybe after school or after your homework or on a weekend. And
Yes.
it just seems silly if that's what she's going to come back to 40 years from now. Like, let's just collapse the timeline and just not stop the thing that you love, that you're good at. So I applaud you, because there's a book called The Third Door, and it talks about how, if you think about a club or a famous restaurant, Entrecôte in Paris, where they only have one thing on the menu and they don't take reservations and the line is really long. And there's you can get in the front door. That's one door. You can get in the side door, like if you're a VIP and you're on the list where the security guard is. But there's also a third door, which is another way to get in. And it's the story of all of these entrepreneurs that have found another way to get in to realize their dreams. But the point that he makes in that book as well, finding the third door is not the hard part. Leaving the line is the hard part, right? So
I love that.
Yeah, and that's what you've done.
Yeah.
You left the line, and it was a leap for you. It was you thought it was going to be disastrous, that your business was going to fail, even though you had never started it or even looked for a new client, but you had already decided that that was never going to work. And we kind of doom scroll in our own mind of how terrible something is going to be, because it's unknown and it requires us getting out of line.
And running through I don't want to disappoint people, or especially when I left the company, I don't want to leave them in a position, and all of those things. And at the end of the day, it's not to sound terrible, but I mean, I could get hit by a bus tomorrow, and I don't want to live with regrets, and
they could fire you.
Right, exactly.
They could decide to shut the business down. Like, they care about you, but they're not going to suffer for a really long time because of how it's going to affect you.
No.
Unlike the suffering that we do, because we don't want somebody else to suffer.
Right. And we, like you said, we create those stories and we stay in that line to say, oh, that's for those people, or that's for them. Is it good for them? And like I said, it's, so there was a lot of self-talk, and there was a lot of, and I've got a wonderfully supportive husband, and it's both my two boys, my wonderful daughter-in-law. I mean, they've been amazing, and they poured belief into me. And I think just having that little cheer section, and, and like I said, when I was saying yes to me, and when you reached out to me, and I was like, what? Be on your podcast? What?
Exactly.
So I'm so thrilled. It's literally a dream. It's literally a dream. I just love talking to you, and just love seeing your amazing face. And yeah, it's truly a dream.
Thank you. It all makes it worth it to me. Like, I love doing this podcast. I love having these conversations. I love taking trips to France. I love having a bed and breakfast. I love having the summer solstice white party. I love having Friendsgiving in my barn. I mean, whatever. All of these things, they're so dreamy. And they only get to be a thing if somebody says yes to themselves.
Right.
Right? Like, my yes is expanded by your yes. And then your yes expands everybody in your universe. And then the benefits from them expand everyone in their universe. And there's really just this beautiful ripple effect of what we're doing. And we are not, it's just not going to end in demise. It's not. That's not how it works. God is not mean. He doesn't give you this dream in your heart for you not to have it.
Yeah.
That's mean. No.
Right.
If this dream is in you, this dream is for you. And the desire is proof that it will work. But you need to make a decision and line up with it. You can't keep going back and forth of, oh gosh, well, it's either the best decision I ever made or the worst decision. We'll just wait and see. No, you get what you expect. So you change the internal narrative, which changes your external narrative.
Right. Well, and I think that, again, making that decision for myself, when I was naming my business, both of my family was saying, well, it should be something with your name or something like that, and like I said, my word of the year last year, well, in the fall of last year was kind of when my process started, really digging deep, and it was thrive. And I chose that for myself, and it just kind of kept coming up and it kept coming up. And when I made that decision, there was like this light in me, and it just truly lit me up, because I feel like I do accounting by the proper way of doing accounting. But if you want to call creative accounting, as far as that visionary part, that's, I think, when people think numbers and they think of, it's so you have to do it this way. There is some truth to that, obviously, with taxes and things like that. But I think the visionary part and the creative part is what lights me up, and working with business owners. And so, when I told my boys that the name was going to be Thrive, and they were excited about it. And like I said, my family has been 100% supportive. And like I said, now being able to bring that into businesses and just say, it's time to thrive. How about that? And business owners want to thrive in their personal lives, I mean, how you thrive with your daughter, and you're thriving with businesses and with your clients. And it just, like you said, it all touches each other, and it just elevates and continually elevates. And like I said, putting my health on the back burner and finally saying no, enough is enough. And I'm not going to work for 20 more years at a company and all of a sudden I retire and then I'm not healthy to enjoy it.
Exactly.
What is that?
Right. It's a really mean joke.
Yes.
For sure. I see what you are doing as strategic.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you are a business strategist.
Yeah.
And it's the difference, like you said, about the bookkeeper, because in my head, all the numbers are the same person. Like, there's the tax accountant, the business strategist, accountant, you're budgeting and forecasting, and then the bookkeeper. To me, that's all one person. So I love that you've identified that one of those people, the bookkeeper, their focus is the rearview mirror.
Yep.
Right. And then the tax person, their focus is the floorboard, like
where
you are right now. Like, I need to know what it is right now. And you are operating through the windshield. You are like, where are we going? And your focus is projecting the destination and the best route to get there. That is amazing and priceless and powerful, because for me, my terror barrier comes from looking in the rearview mirror. And the reason that I needed to outsource the bookkeeping was because I was just in this, it was not enjoyable. And there was shame. And I was like, wow, I can't believe I spent that on that, and that didn't happen. And that, I mean, oh my gosh, it does me no good to look backwards.
Yeah.
That is not my zone. My zone is looking ahead. And yeah, I've made mistakes and I've made brilliant decisions.
Yeah.
And numbers are not a judge. They're just a tool, and they can be presented in a really negative way, and
Yeah.
they can be presented in a really positive way, but they're neutral. And the way that I personally can believe that and embody that is by giving that role to another human that
Yeah.
I trust.
Yeah. Well, and I think that, with you, we always want to look back. I even look at it as like my health journey, right? When we could sit there and shame ourselves for eating that ice cream or making that wrong choice. But we just need to recognize it and say, okay, that was a decision.
Mhm.
But now what do we want the next day to look like? Right. And so what do we want that to look like? Maybe we need to plan a little bit better. Maybe we need to buy those groceries. Maybe they need to prep my veggies a little bit more. So again, putting those systems in place in a business. And some of that is, even refining their, software system or helping them with that, but setting it up to where it's like, we don't keep repeating the same mistake.
Exactly.
Recognize it, but then let's move forward. And then let's set up processes in place to say, that took us off track. That was an obstacle, but let's again move forward. So I think that, I just get true joy out of it. I mean, I love collaborating with people. I love collaborating with business owners, and it truly, truly just lights me up. And like I said, it's been my favorite part of my career. And so now I'm proud of my business.
Ray, I'm so thrilled for you. Congratulations.
Thank
Please
you.
tell everybody where they can find and follow you and get on your wait list to work with you, all the good things.
Yeah. So I'm on Instagram. I have my personal site, which is TL Cebulla, and that's Cebulla. And then I also have a business Instagram. It's Thrive Financial MT, like Montana. And that's my Instagram. And then my website is the same, thrivefinancialmt.com. So you can find me at those places. And like I said, I offer free discovery calls for businesses. And that way, then they're able to see, is this a right fit? Is it a right fit for me and them? And just let's have a conversation.
Perfect. Well, we will link all of that down in the show notes. And let me just ask one clarifying question. Are you able to help businesses that are not in Montana?
Yes. I am set up to work remotely. So even if you're not in Montana, please, I love the opportunity to help businesses anywhere in the U.S.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Terri. I love this conversation. I love watching your trajectory, and I love you.
Thank you. I love you too. And you've had a big part of it. So thank you.
My pleasure.
I hope you enjoyed that conversation as much as I did. As always, any links or notes mentioned can be found at phineaswrighthouse.com in the podcast section of our site or in the show notes below. And if you haven't connected with me personally, come find me on Instagram at Phineas Wright House and let me know you listened to this episode. I'd love to get to know you. Thank you for sharing this time with me. I know your days are full, and I'm really grateful that you chose to spend some of your precious time right here. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss any of these delightful conversations. I'll see you next week.